Hey guys, it's Jabik here, back at you with another Halloween special. Quick question, you like zombies? Just a few mere years ago, you'd have probably said yes. Zombies are an especially popular trope within the gaming circle, and it makes sense. What other genre allows you to shoot hundreds, if not thousands, of people guilt-free? World War II games maybe, but you have to admit there's certainly something attractive about the idea of being one of the few survivors in a ravenous beast-infested world, scrounging for supplies and moving place to place looking for refuge. That is, until you've played it out 100 times. Killing Floor, The Last of Us, DayZ, State of Decay, 7 Days to Die, Dying Light, Dead Island, Dead Rising, The Walking Dead, a whole lot of dead things. And if this wasn't enough, many AAA games went for the cash grab and added zombie modes to their otherwise completely alive settings. Red Dead Redemption, Undead Nightmare, Nazi zombies, and World at War. Even something as recent as Far Cry 5 can't resist the urge to add something zombie related to its formula. This would be all fine and dandy because the concept of zombies in a video game is generally good, but just as with anything else, too much of a good thing makes that good thing way less good. And a horde of shuffling corpses paired with a trusty old shotgun isn't any different. So, like many others I'm sure, I went for a sort of zombie fast that's lasted a couple of years, and I think I finally reached a point where I can once again tolerate mowing down hundreds of the suckers and watching a small group of survivors constantly bicker and moan about their circumstances. And what better way to get in the spirit of things, and Halloween in general, than playing the premier zombie shooter, Left 4 Dead. The first one. Yes, indeed, released by Valve in the height of the company's golden age, you'd be hard-pressed to find a better place to take out some pent-up aggression on the undead than this game. But it's also almost indisputably the best co-op first-person shooter ever made. You and up to 3 other friends can blast through this game's campaign as many times as you like, and thanks to good level design and some clever randomly generated aspects, any one session won't play out the same as the last. Let's start with the basics. The reason this game does co-op so well is because it was built from the ground up for it. Unlike most games where it feels like a tacked-on feature to be advertised on the box or something. While you can play the game with AI companions, this game is definitely meant to be experienced with a group of friends. I tell you, there's nothing more lonely than a session of Left 4 Dead all by yourself. You play as one of 4 characters, which include Zoe, the token female, Lewis, the regular Joe, Bill, an old veteran, and Francis, a biker bro. Needless to say, this game doesn't do a lot to flesh out the characters nor their stories. Even the wiki fully admits these people's defining characteristics are how relatable and archetypal they are. This is okay though, because it works quite well with the zombie movie blockbuster aesthetic, not to mention putting a lot of resources into the story and characters of a purely co-op zombie game that's meant to be played over and over is more of a lost cause than the Vietnam War. There are a few nice details though. The environments have an adequate spooky atmosphere, the characters banter and bicker like what you would expect, and there are a few world-building messages left behind by other survivors in the safe rooms of each level, which are fun to read, but by the time you soak them in, your teammates are most likely already halfway through the level and screaming at you over the voice chat. The game is structured into 6 campaigns, with a few levels in each of them that escalate the challenge and scale as you move forward, usually culminating into a grand finale of a defense sequence where you await evac by helicopter, boat, plane, etc. This means that the content is well suited to be broken up into several Saturday sessions with the boys. The campaigns have little care for continuity, instead being paced like your typical action movie like the cheesy posters during the loading screens and heavy film grain filter would imply. The gameplay mostly consists of shooting zombies, which is good considering that's the best part. Unloading a clip into a massive crowd of charging undead and watching them realistically flail and flop around is immensely satisfying. There's also a variety of special zombies you'll have to deal with, including the Smoker, which incapacitates your friends with its long tongue and pulls them out of friendly territory, the Boomer, which vomits zombie attracting bile onto your friends, the Hunter, which apart from having a terrifying scream, jumps onto your friends and tears their faces off, the Witch, which is docile until you get too close to it or shine a light near it, and worst of all, the Tank, which deals out a massive amount of damage and takes even more of it, and is generally just a giant roadblock the entire party needs to gang up on at once if you want any kind of a chance at killing it. The common theme among these boss-type enemies is that they require diligent teamwork to overcome. The Smoker and Hunter attack with little warning and will kill a player who decides to wander away from the group and happens upon them unless a teammate can save them in time. The Boomer is generally useless unless you either don't see them or a teammate shoots them when you're standing right next to it, which causes it to erupt its bile all over you. The Witch requires teamwork in that you have to rely on your friends to not provoke it, though they almost always do. And finally, the Tank is so overpowered there's almost no way a lone player player could ever be expected to kill it by themselves, because even 4 players unloading bullets and grenades all at once still takes a long time to kill. Even the common infected turn into a challenge when you're left all by your lonesome, as they'll often swarm around you and interrupt your reloading time, which is quite inconvenient indeed. There are a few gripes I have with this game, most notably the lack of content. Sure, it's fun as heck to go through this game even with strangers online, but the small amount of weapons and lack of any kind of meaningful collectibles or secrets means the gunplay becomes just a bit boring and by the numbers after a few hours of play. This is fine though, because the sequel fixes all of this. Released exactly 1 year after the first, Left 4 Dead 2 is basically the same game except with a whole lot more content to be enjoyed. While we can all admire what a good follow-up it is, I've never seen a company make a game more irrelevant more quickly than Valve did with Left 4 Dead 1, and critics and fans alike certainly weren't happy with this. Imagine spending 40 hard-earned buckaroos on the first and then being stuck with a straight-up inferior product after only 12 months to the day. Yeah, not very consumer-friendly business practice there, Valve, but whatever. I think it's been long enough and the games are cheap enough it doesn't really matter anymore. As previously stated, Left 4 Dead 2 takes the formula of the first game and just adds more. More likable characters, more weapons, more campaigns, more replay value, and a whole lot more modding support. Chances are you've seen at least one YouTube video depicting copyrighted characters fighting against a horde of ravenous Teletubbies. Ah, the joys of PC gaming. So there you have it. Left 4 Dead is one of the best co-op experiences out there, one that's still being played by thousands even 9 years after its release. The sequel, that is. The first one doesn't have nearly as impressive numbers because of how obsolete it is, though I had little trouble starting a lobby and finding strange internet people to join in my adventures with me. In fact, I had a great time in the first game. Sure, there was the usual 50-year-old chain smoker that kept running off by himself, but it was good. You know, good. I met a sweet old lady who knew everything there was to know about the game.
Stand in front of me, I will shoot you.
And who was apparently being stalked and harassed by a griefer named Dylan, who kept coming into our game and team killing over and over with increasing malevolence. What a guy. What a game. Left 4 Dead, real spooktacular, would recommend if you're looking to get into the Halloween spirit without crapping your pants. Anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed this All Hallows Eve special. As always, my name is Huh? What's that? Sorry guys, it's my producer. Really? Sure, okay, yeah, I'll tell them. Okay, bye. Alrighty, looks like the higher-ups have booked me for 2 Halloween-themed videos this month, not just one. Don't know exactly what other game they want me to review, but, oh, I'll go get that.
Go tell Aunt Rhody. Go tell Aunt Rhody that everybody's dead. I was raised in a deep dark hole, a prisoner with no parole. They locked me up and took my soul.